on. So much there. And she had us create a lead magnet right there and post it. I had the opportunity to be a speaker on Thursday. So on Wednesday night, I finished off my little lead magnet, shipped it over, got it all prettied up. And I think there were 10 or 12 ladies there, and probably 5 or 6 emails I got from it with my lead magnet. And now with the lead magnet, Daria and I were talking it over, and I'm learning to get it narrowed down. So my little thing for this month is just talk about networking. What do we need for networking? Because I was doing off the cuff and impromptu, and people are saying, yeah, I don't know if everybody knows what all those things mean anymore. What is it now? So networking it is what I'm working on. And what do you need to do networking effectively? How do you need to prepare ahead, no matter where it is that you're going to be asked to say a few words and so on. So it was a start, and I've got to narrow it down.
Awesome. Add it to your list of funnels.
Well, it is interesting too, because I kept having this brain block that a funnel is something else, that's your selling thing. But indeed, now when you go in and, well, you've seen mine, when you go in, that is the funnel. So I'm building organically, but there's still a funnel there. Duh. I don't know how you guys stand me some days, because I can't stand myself some days. I'm trying to get things in my brain. But
it's okay. It's okay, Sandra. We're just glad you're here.
Piece by piece. Well, I'm a little bit of entertainment. Look what you're going to do when you get my age. Oh, shit. Let's stay this age.
Right.
Oh, sorry, Russell.
What age is that?
We're both
great.
Russell's hair is about to turn pink. Jason, what's your win from the week? You are gainfully unemployed and on the move.
Yeah. So attitude, I think, first and foremost, is a win for the week. I've got a lot of things brewing. I was at the Carlsbad Chamber. Great reception there. They had someone presenting on podcast. And that's going to be a great opportunity for me. Today at 10 o'clock, I have a meeting down in San Diego with the End of Life Coalition meeting. I've got people coming out of the woodwork. Someone's going to come and take some professional pictures of me on Friday, so I can update my social media and my one page for podcast guesting. And then I'm also working on launching a podcast that I can actually host. Went with the wife to go see Jesus Revolution on Sunday. That was a great, good movie. Ended up sitting next to a gal who was actually there during that Calvary Chapel movement. Had a nice 20, 30-minute conversation with her afterwards. And yesterday she referred me a hospice patient. So the final win is I'm about 90% completed with a referral contract. So just waiting to get that back from my attorney. So hoping to have that back on Friday. That's basically licensed to make money with what I'm doing. So.
Wow.
Awesome.
Great. A license to make money. That sounds good.
Yeah, come on.
Cool.
I love that little cup you drink your smoothies out of.
It's the little one. It's the little one.
The little one. I can see it's the little one. His head disappears.
So I had a few wins this week, and as I said in my email and my text, been spending, feels like I'm setting money on fire whenever I run Facebook ads. But I spent about $635 in the last 2 weeks, give or take. And I've learned some lessons and want to share those with you. And I can say I made my investment back, although it will take some time to see that come to fruition. But learned some valuable lessons. And like I've said 100 times before, when you spend money on ads, you're really buying data. So we want to be buying leads, but at first you're buying data that you can actually translate and pivot into getting leads, which is what we all want. So every time I'm setting up a ad campaign for a client, I really try and preface that like, yes, I know we all want instant leads like tomorrow, and sales, which hopefully that happens. But whether we get leads or sales right away, what we are really buying is data. We are getting an influx of people who don't care about us into our funnels to see if our messaging is working, to see if our sales process is working, to see if our funnel is optimized. And it's totally different from like, sharing it with your friends and family or posting it on your Facebook with your friends from high school who are curious what you got going on, right? Like it's a totally different audience in terms of will my offers work in the marketplace? Does that make sense? So before I get into that, the real win, I think, from my week. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'll get to the Facebook ad account and share a few takeaways. But my real win, I feel like, is I've been talking about this jet brochure with people forever. This concept of having a really high quality brochure that describes your products and services and doesn't shy away from the fact that you're expensive, right? The idea of the jet brochure, if you haven't heard it before, I'll say it again. Someday I hope to own a jet or at least an airplane or something like that. So I'm always looking at planes and stuff online. That's kind of where I go to relax online, just looking at plane stuff, whether it's military aviation or civil aviation or stuff like that. Jason and I, we're going to co-own a plane together. We've already talked about it. And actually Scott too. So we can just have a jet share, we can park it in Phoenix or here, just whatever.
Well, this summer, I'm hoping to go up to Wawa, which is up north, further than I'm north. And it'll be up over Lake Superior, which is considered an ocean in the middle of the land. And my friend said, maybe we can even go up in a bush plane. That ties in with my adventure land.
That sounds good. That sounds like the Arctic Circle. That sounds like really.
Yeah, it's a long way from there still.
Yeah, but the jet brochure, I downloaded this brochure from this Embracier or something. I can never pronounce the name. It was like a $40 million jet, and they're just selling with a PDF. My point is, like, I don't care how expensive your stuff is. If you have a well-designed PDF, like for some reason, it seems a little bit more palatable. It seems like, oh, okay, this is worth the money. But when you just put something on a web page, it doesn't have the same feel, and I don't know why. I don't really understand the psychology behind it. Maybe it's because you can print it out and you have something, you can have like a booklet, almost like a catalog, right? Anyway, so all that to say, my jet brochure, I finally put it together. I'm really excited about it. And so we have the 2023 FunnelFlow Marketing Agency Services. So it talks about me, what we do, who we work with, our strategy.
I can't see it, Caleb. Can't see it.
Well, that doesn't help anything. All right, let me see. Share screen.
It said you were starting to share the screen. There you go.
Can you see that now?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the FunnelFlow Black Book, our 2023 Marketing Services Edition. And this is one of the lessons I learned from this ad run, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I'm gloating right now because I just finished this last night, like midnight. But has about FunnelFlow, who we work with, our strategy, talks about the mastermind, you guys, and then I've broken down the services based upon the different elements of the flywheel. So this is my framework, and then I broke down how we serve you based on this strategy. So what I'm trying to convey is everything we do is driven by strategy and the why. So it talks about Google ads, Facebook ads. So this is under publish, organic social media, newsletter management, right? And I'm using smart mockups. So I take Canva, I take screenshots, and I go to smartmockups.com, and like a one click, I can get these really cool looking mockups. I don't even use Photoshop or anything like that. And then, so capture this next part of the strategy. So this is where we have our website design, sales funnel creation, the different funnels we've created. Scott, do you remember that funnel?
What was that?
You remember that funnel right there?
Yep. I still see it on my my Google My Business goes to that.
There's your funnel. All right. It's a book funnel we just launched. Okay. And then nurture. These are different, so kind of the lead follow-up services that we do, and CRM customization services. And now we have our packages. So basically all that, their retail prices on if someone were to come to me off the street and I thought they could afford it, that's what I would quote them, and I'd be happy to pay. I'd be happy to work for that price, right? Any of you ever worked for less than you feel like you're worth? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So that's putting it all on paper. That's getting it all out of my head, right? This is what I want to be paid for this service, because now after a couple of years in business, I know what goes into it. You know, I was willing to kind of do it for whatever. Hey, you got 20 bucks? Sure. That's fine. Right. But I was just learning through that process. Now I know what it takes. I know the costs involved. So those prices are fair, I believe. Okay. But also that's a price anchor because I really want people on the subscription, right? So here's our agency packages. So this is the offer stack, and I don't have the total value, and maybe I can add that. But basically, if you were to add up all the different things, it's way more than $1,000 a month, and more than the setup fee. So $3,000 setup, $1,000 a month, 10% of ad spend, $197 per month tech fee. And I have 3 packages because I'm trying to push people into the middle one. This is where I would like most established businesses to be, in the middle. So this is all of the first package plus all this other stuff. And then, yeah, and then you go to the top one, which is, and also I'm saying who this is for, right? So this first one, it's for solopreneurs and startups, right? Like this would be for like Randy, right? Randy's type of service, or Jason, you know, and then grow. This is for established businesses transitioning online. So I had a sales call with another company right now. They have multiple locations. You know, they're doing a fair amount of revenue, but they're trying to break into the online space, right? So this is also like a buyer's guide. I'm telling people what they need, right? People need direction. Like, hey, this is what you need. It's kind of like you go to a nice restaurant and there's 1,000 things on the menu, and what do? What's the first question you ask the waitress or the waiter?
What's your
What's
favorite?
good on your menu? What's most popular?
You're
What do you
basically
like?
saying, sell me on your favorite dish, right? Also, when we have our jet brochure, it's like, sell me, okay, there's a lot here, right? This is a Cheesecake Factory menu. Which one should I get, right? Oh, sorry, I clicked away. So I'm really trying to sell them subtly, like, hey, if you're an established business and you're transitioning online, this is for you. Don't mess around with the starter. You're not ready for the scale package yet. Let's start here. And then the scale package is my, like, you know, this is my whale, right? This is like the big daddy contract. You know, if I get one of these, couple of these on the books, like, you know, I'm getting a new car, right? And
What's the 10% ad spend? Is that on top or out of that?
on top.
On
So
top.
if they spend 10,000 a month on ads, you know, they'll pay us an additional 1,000. And the justification is you're spending more money. There's more, you know, you're spending more time in the account managing it, making sure everything's working properly. Anyway, so this is the big one, but really this is also to give them a little sticker shock to push them into here. Like, you know, this $3,500 a month seems like a pretty good deal, right? And then I threw in kind of, so this is really the funnel flow, but a lot of people come to me and they're like, yeah, funnel flow is great. I want to hire you, Caleb. And I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like, hey, that's fine. here's my price, right? Like I'm happy to help, but here's the price. And getting to the point where I really value my time, and also, you know, as Bobby Klein, our mutual friend, has said, you're not a nonprofit, Caleb. And I'm just sharing this with you, not because I'm saying that this is what I'm trying to charge you guys for services on this call. It's like, what I've really been learning lately is like, don't be afraid just to state the price. But if you're going to say this is how much it costs, like just give the justification, present it clearly, present it professionally, and don't apologize, right? There is no clauses in this brochure. This is, by the way, if you can't afford it, I'll give you a better price. No, obviously that's in the negotiation. But yeah, so anyway, that's my jet brochure. The reason I made this is because through buying a fair amount of traffic through Facebook, I had some interesting conversations with people, right? And you know, one interesting lesson I learned is that, like, for me, I can do a lot of things in the marketing space, but the offer was focused on, I will redo your website for free, just cover the cost of hosting. So basically you come onto the FunnelFlow platform and we will redesign your website in a basic sense, put it onto the platform, and now you're on subscription, but hey, you have a fresh new website, right? Win-win. So I had a call with the guy and I basically told him the offer. And in my mind, it's like, hey, this is an irresistible offer. This is, you know, what's not to love about this? Who doesn't love free? And he goes, well, do you have any other packages? It's like, once I had him on the phone, like for whatever reason, that wasn't resonating with him. And I have other packages. I have other ways I can serve him, but I realized I didn't have anything to show him, right? My hey Chuck, morning. You know, my website is in various stages of development, and like it's not all succinctly put there. And I'm like, yeah, I've got some other packages, I'll send them to you. But I had nothing to send him. And Scott disappeared. So that was lesson number one. If you're buying leads online, if you are spending money on paid ads and you're talking to people who don't know you, who don't necessarily like you yet, and who don't trust you yet, some people say, what else do you got? Right? Or the conversation starts here, but it veers into another direction. Does that make sense? And so having, called a jet brochure, or just something that really lays out your whole business, right? If you're advertising one offer, but they get on the phone with you and you realize very quickly that this offer is maybe not so suited for them, they need something else, right? You need something to send them like right away. And so I don't know if this is a lost opportunity with this guy, but I'm going to follow up with him. But that's lesson number one. If you're getting on sales,
send out that whole 40 pages.
Yeah. So I uploaded it to Google Drive and I just sent them the link so they don't have to like download it, because it's a 40 megabyte file.
Yeah.
But what I did when I sent it last night to another client, another prospect, I said, look at these pages. So here's all of it. I'm trying to overwhelm them intentionally. Like, yeah, I can do a lot. Read page 34 to 36. Like, that's really what you want to look at. Right.
Good. Yeah.
Chuck, you look confused.
No, I'm not confused. I was thinking about something else while I was listening to you, and that was confusing me. Can't do two things at once.
Stop thinking too hard. Chuck,
also, like, I jumped on, Scott hasn't been on for 2 weeks, and then I jump on late and he jumps off. Like,
it was intentional.
I know. Thanks. Stab right to the heart.
Yeah. I'm sharing my lessons from spending $635 on ads in the last week or two.
Well, I read the email as I was logging on, and I was like, I hope I didn't miss any juicy nuggets. And I gotta say, there is no clause in my deal that says if you can't afford it, I'll lower my price. Like, that is beautiful. That's gold.
Are you able to share that? Has nothing to do with my business, but what I'm seeing for myself is the reminder about all the things I have to cover. Because I don't have that. I did do my lead magnet, and now I see how I have to do some others, but I have to really clear up all the different areas that I do, and that's
You want
what
the
was
Google
triggering for
link?
me.
You want
Yeah.
the Google link? Yeah.
There you go. I just put it in the chat. All right. So lesson number one of all this ad spend, and it's not a lot, but it's a lot to me. It's when you get on sales calls with people, the conversation may veer away from your initial offer. So be prepared to sell them something else. Right? We all, to some degree, have different things we can sell people. Right? Even if, right. So having a PDF, having a clear description of basically, here's everything I can do for you. Here's everything you can buy, called a menu of services, called an overview brochure, called a jet brochure. Having that ready to go. If you see that this prospect is, like in my case, hey, this prospect he's kind of raising his hand saying, I'm willing to invest some more money, but I want something, I want like a higher end package, because we were talking about an introductory offer, right? So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two is that leads are easy to get. Appointments where people show up is a totally different ball game, right? So let me show you my my lead flow. Let me share my screen here. Doesn't want to share that. All right. We're having issues with screen share. All right, can you see it?
Yep.
All right, so here's my opportunities. All right, so this is the free website build offer that I was running leads to, or running traffic to. All right, and I still need to go up in here and update this, but when the automations were working correctly, they'd go into prospect. And then I had automations that I'll show you the automations in a minute. It'd go to prospect, but then I would call them, and then I'd drop them here. And if they didn't answer, they lived here. If they self-selected or I booked the appointment for them, we went to appointment booked over here. Okay. And then if they showed, I would drag them here. And then there's an automation that says, once they went to the showed column, it would generate basically like a, hey, thanks for meeting email. Here's the link to get started. And then this is follow up. And then I had a lot of no-shows. I need to clean this up, but I don't even know what so I think I got a little spoiled in the first two meetings I had. Like, they showed up, they like booked right away, and then they showed up right away. I'm like, oh, this is great. You know, this is gonna be like printing money. And then it's like everyone started no showing. Like, I'm like, okay. So what I learned very quickly is that I think if you're doing for me, I'm speaking for myself, I think doing an introductory offer, that's kind of like a low ticket offer, that get them to invest something, so give them get their email for free, right? So grab that lead as best you can. But before you offer to give them an appointment or something, like, make them put a little bit of money down, even if it's that low ticket amount, 27, 97, depending on what you're doing. Make them buy your book for $5, right? Make them put some money down that says, hey, I'm serious, right? Because there's no consequence, so to speak, for no showing an appointment. Now, there's a consequence to me because it clogs up my calendar, and right. But to them, it's like, you know, and if they book something and there's a few days in between, like whatever emotion caused them to book at that time has probably faded away at that point, right? Or something more pressing has pushed into their life. But like, let's learn from our, you know, our dentists and doctors. If we no show on them on an appointment, what are they going to do?
Aren't you?
They're going to charge you a fee, and you know, they're going to harass you with collection bills. Like, we have a few like orthodontist missed appointments for my daughter, and they're still sending me like these stupid bills. So I'm like, you know, get in line, buddy. So so what I'm going to do next time I relaunch this is make them put a down payment on their free website, and the appointment is going to be it's going to be more of an onboarding call, not so much a sales call. And if they have questions, they can text me, right? So that's that is a second lesson I learned. Any thoughts or questions on that?
You can just say that little last bit all over again. Just the last little bit.
So
Where you're going to have them put money down, and your appointment, your booked appointment, will actually be an onboarding.
right. So instead of having like a free consultation, or, you know, grab the email, hey, let's talk about your website, basically just some sort of sales call or consultation call. And for whatever reason, it worked for the first few people. But you know, the pivot is, I don't want to waste my time. Like, I want a near 100% show up rate. And I know that when people pay attention. So what I'm going to do is still present the offer the same way, but don't offer the appointment until they've put some sort of refundable down payment on their website. And the meeting is more of a onboarding call. So now they feel like, hey, I've paid something, I'm a customer, I need to get something out of this, as opposed to, let's see what this guy's got.
Mm.
Right. That's really the psychological pivot. Right. And that's what I set up for Randy and Vashti, is once we grab the lead, like asking for that deposit before they get on the call. And I don't know if that's kind of come to fruition yet, but it's the same idea.
I'd like to figure that out. In fact, what I was going to mention, when we were meeting with J. Michael Strategies, they actually shied away from saying we should give anything for free, because one of their points was people will click yes to free things all the time. But when you say, hey, we're offering this assessment, it's taking 30 of my minutes. And if you're going to take up 30 of my minutes and I have 100 of these, I got to pay somebody to make these calls. So they were saying, you know, have something that you're saying, we're going to give you this for a really reduced price for our time, because it's the upsell. So yeah, that I agree with you. It can waste a lot of time. We can't get anybody on the phone or to reply to an email or anything else because it's free. I think that happens a lot.
That brings up an interesting point. I remember way back to the dark banquets years ago that they collected the money for the end of the year celebrations, because they were going to get trophies and all that stuff. And what they would do is, when you showed up, there was an envelope with your refund in it. The ones that didn't show up, the money went in the pot. Because, I mean, throughout the whole tournament, of course, we were always in little competitions. So they were collecting bits and pieces for the party all along. But when it came to the actual party, there was a fee and there was an envelope, and you showed up. There's your money back. Go have a drink.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a bit of another way.
I guess. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I was just going to ask Caleb, you know, in what I'm doing, there's actually no, unless I'm marketing the hospices, right? I mean, there's no necessary hook to, you know, the money is not involved at all in what I'm doing. I mean, I want the email, I want the contact information, I want an appointment, you know, to talk to someone, to have a conversation with someone about themselves or a loved one. I mean, what would my angle be, or how would you see this kind of process working without a fee connected to it?
For clarity, I'm not saying don't be afraid to collect emails and contact leads for free, right? My whole point is that if you're trying to get and maybe it's different for you, if you're trying to get consumers on the phone for some sort of sales call, if there's a money exchange, you have a higher show up rate. For you, I think the motivation is altogether different, right? You're talking about end of life. You're talking about people who feel like they don't have other options. Like, it is a whole different ball of wax, as opposed to, some guy with an AC company in South Florida who wants a new website. It's a little different, right? So, short answer, you have to test it. I don't really know. There's probably other levers you can pull to prevent no-shows, whether it's you can't rebook your appointment for 2 weeks or something. I'm so booked, right? So there's like this fear of loss, where they're very motivated to try and make that appointment.
Who do you approach, Jason? Do you approach the caregivers, the people, whoever it is that will eventually need the hospice? They're not necessarily your client directly, but also the caregivers and family around that, I would think. And so I could see having the little guidebook, some kind of a little guide lead magnet to get their emails, and then a paid, a low paid call, a Zoom call, a little bit of a workshop. And if it was only $10 or $20 or whatever to join the group, where you'd actually walk through and answer some questions.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, thank you. To answer your question, yeah, all of the above, as far as who my target is, from the actual potential patient themselves to the people that are providing care for them. Yeah, I guess I can, as you said that, I'm like, well, yeah. The information I have has value. The workbook or the conversation guide has value. So, on one hand, should those things be given away for free? No, because they're valuable. The webinar is valuable. The guidebook is valuable. But
I can see the
I'm just gonna have to
guidebook
work.
being available and pretty much free. But I'm thinking, as you would do a workshop, and the people were there, you would have somebody like myself, or somebody that was going to talk estate planning as well, like how are your affairs. So you'd have guest speakers of high profile talking about those things, and they're worth coming in for a live webinar with a live speaker and a Q&A, even if it was a little series of 3.
Yeah.
So you'd be collaborating, and there'd be a referral services going with somebody that's doing estate planning and looking at all the financial aspect and the housing aspect. So you'd have what you do with all that, the downsizing, the upsizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a great thought, is, the next step. And this is also where my mind is going of, okay, I see I can get leads, I can get some appointments, but how do I make this a one-to-many so this can scale? So I can have not 17 appointments this week or a sales team of 17 appointments, but how can I get all those 17 appointments onto one webinar, right? Because it's the same message for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, to Sandra's point, there's nothing wrong with charging for a workshop or something like that, Hey, Andreas, how are you?
And if they're paying to come, the other thing is, okay, this is the cost, but here's what you're going to take away. So then you'd have freebies from each of the speakers, which would be more guidebooks around the financially and so on.
Yeah, good stuff. I've got tons of a backlog of topics, from advanced directives to 25 documents to, and they can get an advanced.
So you bring in some high profile speakers from the area that you're working.
So the next lesson I learned from spending $635 in Facebook ads is Facebook lead forms are pretty powerful and work pretty well. All right, so just a quick crash course in Facebook ads. So you have 3 tabs here. So you have the campaign, which this is the objective. This is the goal. All right, so do you want leads? Do you want sales? Do you want video views? So that's how campaigns are structured. And then ad sets, these are different audiences. So, okay, these are the different groups of people that I want to see this campaign objective. And then you have the ads. These are the actual creatives, the things you see on your feed, right? So I had 3 different ad sets. 2 were going to the funnel, and then 1 was just a Facebook lead form. Now, for whatever reason, I was having tracking issues on like qualifying how many leads came in, but I had several leads come in these ad set, but I want to focus on this instant form where I was spending $40 a day, and then I spent $609. Sorry, I've been inflating my numbers this whole time. Sorry. All right, so I had 29 on Facebook leads. It cost me just under $9 per lead, and I got 60 link clicks. So really a 50% conversion rate on people who clicked the lead form turned into a lead, right? And I'll show you what that looks like. Now, the reason lead forms work so well is because they are pretty seamless from the on the user side, right? Facebook already has all your information, so you don't need to you don't have to do this, very troublesome using 2 fingers to type in your email address. You just click yes twice, and the lead submits through the form, right? Everything's already pre-populated. Let's see. I'm going to show you the form. Okay. So that was the ad, real simple. Attention local business, get a custom website for free. I wasn't even running a video ad. I had the primary text, which is what you see above. Okay. And this is using some market data, basically leveraging other people's data for my own purposes, right? 75% of consumers admit they judge their business's credibility based on their website design. How's your company's website measure up? If you haven't touched your website in over 2 years, it's time for an upgrade, and FunnelFlow Marketing is here to help. And then I present the offer. Okay, these are different headlines that Facebook rotates. So just putting different headlines into the hopper where they can test, see which one works better. Call to action is get offer, right? And then this is the form I created. All right, so this is what the form looked like. So when they click the ad, it pops over to this. And then I just restated the offer. Get a brand new website designed for free, just pay hosting. Your website's old, we'll revamp it for free. All right, this is the information, and all this pre-populates. And then they click submit. Thank you. And then this is the redirect page. So this actually went to the appointment booking, right? And I had an automation where it would send them a confirmation email, but I was having all kinds of issues with that. I don't know if it's a Facebook issue or what, but these things are buggy, but they seem to work. So that was it. It was really simple. The cool thing is, and even if you're having integration issues, like you're having trouble getting this form to sync up with your CRM, which I was, you can do this. Let me. So you can download these leads. I know Andreas is always saying, I just want people for my salespeople to call. You ever said that, Andreas? Yeah.
I don't know which Andres you're talking about.
Andres.
Andres.
All right.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Yeah. So download them here. And I got to the point where I was just doing this every day because I was having integration issues. So then here's your leads here. So these are the people that put their info in. So you got name, email, phone number, whatever you want. Now, the cool thing is, where is it? He is Jonathan Jones. He is now a member of the FunnelFlow Mastermind. So he purchased. Okay. He was on the hook pretty quick and got on a phone call. Like when I called him, I heard my video playing in the background. I go, oh, this guy's a hot lead, right? This guy is interested. And turns out he's an author. We're gonna set him up with a book funnel. He's a really great guy. So yeah, am I excited that I spent $609 and I didn't close half these? No, but I'm excited that you guys will get to meet Jonathan Jones, right? So takeaway number 3 is test, test, test. I have so much more clarity and what's the word? Confidence to do this again. And it's ads are a pain in the butt. Dealing with leads are a pain in the butt. It's always better to get a nice warm referral where people just open their wallet and say, take my money, right? I know you can help me because so-and-so referred me to you, but we also know that that's not very scalable. So any questions?
So you spent $685.
$609.
$609, and you acquired one client that's going to pay you a total of $2,400 for the year. Ideally,
and my back end goal is to get him into a website, deliver some results, and then offer additional services to help him grow.
that's cool. So after the 3rd month, as long as he's on, just as it sits, you'll be positive.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good. Right?
Yeah. Honestly, it's gravy to me. What's good is what I learned through this process, right? And this newer level of confidence that I have. So every time I do this, I learn something. And the big lesson here is spending money on ads, you are paying for data. You're getting raw, unadulterated data on your offer, your funnel, your sales process. And it's hard to put a price on that.
Yeah, well, it's hard to put a price on it, but we all have it. And isn't that what our friend Billy says? You either get sales or you get data. I also know, to Jason, doing a B2C or a B to a consumer, you're targeting a consumer, is different than targeting a business. A business, you do want to get some type of buy-in, especially when they open up their wallet, because then they're invested in their business. Like Caleb invested in his business, like to get Facebook ads, and he got a client out of it. For a consumer, that's a little harder to get that. So I don't have any wisdom for you, but I know from experience it is different. And when I have some, I will let you know. Also, my mom went on hospice, I don't know, 3 months ago or something. And I was talking to her just last week, and we were talking about hospice, and she was like, people always wait till the end for hospice, and it's not really for that. I was like, I know, Mom. I heard from an expert that same thing.
So good. So good.
So you getting out there and educating people on this, however you're doing it, is very important and very much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So
Jason,
go ahead.
Jason,
Yes,
just
sir.
one warning. If you're going to go along with aligning yourself with estate planners, law firms, just be real careful about their integrity
Yes.
and that they are as compassionate about your clients as you are. We're just going through a nightmare with the people that, you know, my mom and dad signed up with, and the subsequent, you know, they're just jacking us with like nickel and dime, but nickel and dime that's adding up to thousands of dollars of fees upon their departure. So just be, you know, just because that's going to reflect back on you eventually. So just be careful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone that I align myself with is going to be an extension of the nonprofit. And honestly, that's part of why I set this company up as a nonprofit. The scrutiny, you know, from the government obviously is a little higher. Also, the scrutiny by the state. You know, there are a lot of regulations, OIG, anti-kickback laws, all of these things. So everything I'm doing in the background as this business is being set up speaks to integrity. And so I'm really just honing in expertise-wise on the Medicare hospice benefit. If they're supporting, you know, structures around me, whether it's, you know, financial advisors, trust attorneys, will attorneys, all of those things, I'm really not looking necessarily to partner with them. My goal is simply to educate, because again, my company makes money through the government, right? The government is paying hospice companies, and ultimately it's those hospice companies that are paying me. So I can be very selective on where my partnerships are. And so I'm looking to partner with elite companies. Thank you.
And within that elite company, finding that speaker, that leader that matches up with you and in compassion and integrity as well, even within that company. Because if they don't relate.
Chuck, what was your takeaway for the day?
There's no clause in my contract that says if you can't afford it, I will lower my price.
I like that.
I think as business people, like we bring a value, you show that. And if they can't afford it, well, that is disappointing for everybody, but we're not all nonprofits.
That's good. We celebrate you, Jason, but we got to make some money.
Yeah.
Well, I've sold against nonprofits for years, and my selling point has always been, well, that we pay our taxes, they don't. You know, just because I'm a nonprofit doesn't mean that I'm not looking to profit. And you know,
we're just joking. We know it's okay.
I know. I got to work on that. My wife says I take everything so serious and so literal. I need to loosen up. So sorry.
I roll. Andreas, I know you're late to the party, but do you have any takeaways you'd like to share?
Yeah, collecting data, like that's huge. Anything needs other iterations, and it's never settle.
The sales call I had yesterday, the guy said, he goes, "We want to fail fast," and I took that as we're willing to burn some money. We're willing to light some Benjamins on fire because we need to figure this out, right? And you know, spending money on ads. Quitting your government job to become a marketing nurse, like I need to fail fast. We all need to fail fast, right? There's work to be done. So, Sandra, we will give you the last word.
Well, I was just thinking about my takeaway, and this group is amazing because we're all happy to jump into each other's thought process. And as I was saying to Jason so brilliantly, you take all your people that are going to be speakers and put your book together, and all of your guides will make another book. And I'm thinking, I'm working and writing a book with my group right now about journey to entrepreneurship. I'm just thinking there's only 5 of us. Now we each need to put our teaching points that are key to what we do in addition to that. So thank you, Jason, for making me spout out what I needed to hear.
Come on. So good.
Spout it out.
Spout out what you need to hear.
Spout it
out. I know I said I'd give Sandra the last word, but Russell, what's your takeaway for the day?
Just you know, as my web site's being redone by your organization, I it just struck me that my website is kind of an umbrella. I mean, there's websites specifically for the product that I have, but there's, the other aspects of the other things that I do. So I'm just, it just struck me that they should all be jet brochures unto themselves as we go through that process, but that's it.
Well done. Appreciate you guys. We'll be on in an hour. If you want to talk about your stuff, have a great day.